something to you all to say you need to give permission. So go ahead and give permission, assuming you're okay with it. And Dan, I think this is most everyone who
good. Okay.
RSVP'd.
We have Karen, Hema, Ariana, and I can't, now there's like a chat and
There may be a couple more coming, I think.
I do like 4 Zoom meetings a day and each one baffles me. Every time I'm like, whoa, what's happening here?
Everyone is a new thing. Before we jump in, Dan, at our meetings, we always start with just a check-in to see how people are doing. And I think that Tanya is the only one here from the accountability group that met last week. So I'm also going to ask you to jump in with how your project is going based on the goals you set. But and Alex too, you were in our accountability group, and I know that that you did get something done. So let's just jump in a couple of sentences of how everyone is doing tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm just excited for 2021, which like I think we talked about in another class where it's like, even though, the new year doesn't guarantee change or anything, it's still like just exciting to plan ahead. So I think that's like mainly what I'm trying to be optimistic about. And then yeah, for checking in for the like goal setting, I was able to do the like Instagram account, which was fun. I did look into like the possible website options, but then it kind of like I was also starting to think about other things for that, so I didn't end up like deciding on a platform, but I have like other things to figure out now. But yeah.
Yay, congratulations.
Hi. Well, I got a space to paint, which is awesome. Thank you, Dan. And I'm creating, which is fun. So I've been flowing with so much energy, and I can't wait to get to the space again. So yeah.
You're going to come on Christmas Eve, is that correct?
Yeah, the 24th and the 25th.
Perfecto. And then also Saturday. So you're going to have a 4-day stint in the gallery. So that's great.
Yes.
It's like my first week of break, so it's been really good to just sleep. And yeah, I've been drawing today, and it's been the first time I've drawn in like I think like 3 weeks. So it's been really great to just rest.
Emma, can I ask a break from what? What school are you going to?
UCLA.
And what are you taking?
Do you mean like what classes or like
what's your major?
I'm double majoring in sociology and Chicano studies with a minor in education. Yeah.
And you're taking some art classes, right? Or you've taken some?
I've taken a couple,
yeah,
but okay. I'm done with them.
I can go next. I've been doing good. Like I was talking earlier, I started a new job, so that's been really cool. I have been putting off some commissions that I agreed to do, and so I'm trying to like get the energy and like communicating with the folks that I agreed to create for. So it's like accountability, like that's what I've been working on for the start of this week. But I'm doing really well. I'm excited for Friday because I'm gonna be visiting my partner's parents, so it'll be good.
Hi everyone, my name's Adrian. For those I haven't met, I'm happy to be here and humbled to be in the space with you all. I'm doing all right. It's been a hectic time, a lot of ups and downs, but I'm thankfully all in one piece, and I got to enjoy the great conjunction last night. That was really cool seeing, Saturn and Jupiter line up and just having moments like that in the midst of everything going on. Still working on art, but a little more passively right now, but just happy to learn, and thank you, Dan, and and Ellie for being here and for just sharing space with us.
You're welcome. Are we going to get to see Anna Karen and Adrian? Are we going to get to see you or no?
Maybe, probably not. I'm in the middle of dinner right now.
Oh. Okay. Well,
And
all right.
Anna Karen, how are you doing?
I'm good. I've been better, but I'm doing good. And I'm just excited for the holidays to spend it with my family.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm really happy to be in this group with everybody. I'm so excited that Dan is going to do this. I'm really happy because I'm on vacation too from Cal State Long Beach. So I've been baking some cookies and happy to be here. So Dan is here and he's going to talk to us tonight about artist portfolios. And I want to encourage everybody to jump in with questions. And I'm sure Dan will say this, but he was saying to me at the beginning before you all jumped on that a lot of what he says would be dependent on really specifically what you want to know. So please either in the chat or just jump in on audio. Please do ask questions. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dan.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about too much in the abstract. Like that's why Ariana, I'm so glad to connect you with your work. Alejandra, I know your work a bit, so it's easier for me to put it in a context. If any of you, again, this is where my computer skills are so lame. If any of you could share images of your work, even if you just held it up, something so I could get a sense of what you are interested in or doing, that would be be helpful. And I think everyone has a different goal. Like, let me just, Ariana, let's start with you a little bit, just because I saw the pieces. Can you describe your practice, like give like your artist statement, but just make it up as you go along? Like tell me, hi, I'm Ariana, my art practice is blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I've never made an art statement, but
Oh, here you go.
yeah, my name's Ariana, pronouns are she, they. I've been working with clay for I'd say maybe like 4 years. I took my first ceramics class a couple years ago, and I think that really made a big impression and impact on just like how I create. So I'm not working with expensive clay like I was in the ceramics class. So I just get whatever I can get my hands on at Michael's. So it's mostly like air dry stuff, but this is like one of my series that I started. I have a big passion for sex education and sexuality. So it's a heart with a vulva in the front. And so I don't know, I think moving forward, I really want to blend as many of my passions as I can and have the art really connect and speak to people. And so far, like the people that I've connected to through this series has been really, really amazing. So I just want to do more of that.
Great, that was a perfect artist statement. It was really clear and helpful for me. And I'll just go through each one individually and then sort of give group advice. I mentioned it's really important to put yourself in context to art history. I believe it is. And this sounds like something that's really hard to define, but it's really good to not have one, not have two, but have three artists who you look to for inspiration. That's what I was taught, and I've always worked that way. The two artists three in a way, Judy, it's funny, Judy Chicago, I would really look at. Her most famous thing was The Dinner Party. That was her most famous thing. She was one of the founders of Woman's House in LA, and one of the first feminists in part of the art feminist movement in LA. The other artist is Judy Bamber, who is a friend of mine who did similar imagery to what you're doing, but as drawing. No, I guess they were paintings. and they were fantastic, really fantastic. But Judy Bamber is spelled with an I, Judi, and I believe she teaches at UC Irvine. I think she's always teaching somewhere. But and the other one is of what is her name from New Mexico? Georgia O'Keeffe. Do you know who Georgia O'Keeffe is? Or Georgia O'Keeffe did flower paintings that are clearly sexual. There's no two ways about it. And I'd really look at her work too. But I'm not saying those are your three inspirations, but I'm just saying what you're doing has a context, a historical context. The other thing, I did ceramics for the first time in my life a year ago, and 2 years ago now in Oaxaca. And we have we were sending students down to Oaxaca to work, and there's a master ceramic artist down there. We also had a ceramic artist come up here named Inez, who would really respond to what you're doing too. So that's a part of this new world of working with students outside of LA. We're going to continue. I don't know how that's going to work, but if you're here in LA, like 2 summers ago, we devoted all summer to ceramics. So I know I'm off topic of portfolios, but I just don't know. It's sort of, in terms of, so going backwards, in terms of portfolio, what you have they're beautiful. They would be great in a portfolio, meaning just put them on a table. I would use natural light and other lights to see what lighting was best to light them, and take a picture with your phone. The phone is fine. I have a friend who did this huge project downtown 20 years ago, these tapestries. And at the time he used, let's say $10,000 worth of photography equipment to do his work. He says phones are better now than what he used then. The phones are just, they're incredible. So you just don't worry about getting some fancy camera. You have a fancy camera on your phone. It's really fancy. So just use your camera, and your phone, take pictures, and document what you're doing. And I would almost say, just create a portfolio. By portfolio, I mean like a digital portfolio of the images that you've done. Do you have more than those two, Ariana, or just those two?
No, I have a lot. I have an Instagram that I've kind of neglected recently. So I think I made it with the intent as for it to be like a digital portfolio.
Yeah.
But I think
okay, you don't have to do it now, but I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it.
I can email
Please
you.
do that. Another thing I was gonna, in terms of Instagram, I would say 75 to 80% of my sales come through Instagram. So it's a very viable way to make money. That's sort of, it's usurped a lot of other things, obviously, especially because of COVID. So, well, thank you. So moving on, Hema, tell me your story. What's going on?
So I would say most of my art is just like pen and paper, or like drawings and paintings. But I take my art to kind of capture moments of my life, or moments of importance, like cultural importance, because I'm indigenous, so I like to capture a lot of these historical stories and narratives of our daily lives. But I also like to at some point use art as a forms of knowledge production, to produce a lot of like maybe like political education or comics, or to use art to kind of create stories for students and for people to look at, and kind of learn more about histories and what's currently
You
happening.
kind of want to learn more about history, or you want to learn more about history?
No, I want to use art to put in histories and stories for people to learn more about, because I believe that art can also be a form for people to learn of education. It's not just books and schools and
Right.
all of institutional learning. I think it can come from art too. So
That's fantastic. It's fantastic. Can you show us anything that you've done? Can you hold up a drawing?
You can also share the screen if you like.
So I haven't done anything like
something I would have no idea how to do, but okay.
But I usually like just like make portraits of like important things. So I have one of like my grandparents, but I just don't have it with me right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you, going back, do you have I mean, I'm going to talk all over the place, which is just the way I sort of will do this, but Art Division just did a zine about COVID protection, and we used about 4 or 5 different artists to make it, and it's great. And Maria Galicia, who used to be the assistant, now works at USC, she did it. And so I think it's a perfect, to me, example of students using their art to make a political statement. And it's in Spanish. And I think Alejandra is going to translate it into, tell me the name of the language so I don't mess it up. Quiche?
Quiche.
Quiche. The other, I have a very good friend from Mexico named Demian Flores. Do you have any idea who that is? Demian Flores. He's highly politicized artist who's from Juchitán, but then do you know about Juchitán, you guys? Do you know about that town? I mean, Juchitán is like a matriarchal society, and many artists come from there. The 2 that I know are Demian and Francisco Toledo, but there's such a tradition of political art that comes out of Mexican culture. But I'm just sort of rambling. But the other thing, Emma, do you do these in a sketchbook, or do you do them just on paper? Do you keep a sketchbook, I guess is what I'm asking.
I just recently started keeping a sketchbook, so I don't have anything on a sketchbook. Before this year, I would say I would just do doodles on like pieces of paper, and then I lost them, so I just started keeping a sketchbook.
Do you like to doodle?
Yeah, that's mostly where I would started, because I didn't like school, so I would just like doodle while the teachers would talk.
When I was in high school, I had a sociology teacher who I couldn't pay attention. I couldn't pay attention. All I did was doodle. And he was kind enough to say, just turn in your doodles. You don't have to take the class. And so I just turned in my doodles and got a C, I think. But I think I would really, have you done any printmaking ever, Hema?
Yeah, I have one print.
Where did you do it?
I did it with Art Division.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I haven't seen it. Just keep, it sounds like it's hard to without seeing your work, but I'll ask Javier to see your print if it's there. But anyway, the reason I brought up sketchbooks is I don't know if it doesn't sound like you're exactly want to go to art school or graduate school in art, but one of a really important thing that people do look at in portfolios is sketchbooks. Art Center is like cuckoo for sketchbooks. They love looking at your sketchbook. So all of you, it's always a good practice to keep a sketchbook and just keep for your thoughts and ideas. Just always have a sketchbook if you don't already. Get into that practice, because I think also like with writing and drawing, you get ideas from doing it. When you're drawing is when you come up with the ideas, and when you're writing is when you the writing helps you form your thoughts, the drawing helps you form your thoughts. So, and out of doodles and scribbles come masterpieces. If you look at Frank Gehry, who did the Disney Hall downtown, it started as some scrawly piece of thing on a napkin, that's where it all begins. So the practice of doodling I value very highly. So, okay, Tanya, tell me your story.
Yeah, I minored in art in like college, so I took quite a few art classes then, mainly in printmaking and sculpture. And I feel like overall, I don't have like one thing that I practice a lot, but definitely then it was more printmaking. Like, I really love printmaking. Now, just because I don't have like access to a studio, obviously it's like pretty limited. But other than that, I do like sculpture. I feel like I haven't been like courageous enough to, I guess, like venture out into different possible materials that are available to me to like keep building, but I feel like that's something that I want to like look into. I feel like overall my art, I really like when I focus on like techniques or like new techniques, or just kind of making something random with something new, because I feel like as artists a lot of the times we're like engineers, so it's really fun. I get more lost into it and more like, yeah, just more into it in general when the process itself is like very engaging for me. Like sometimes I'm not as attached to the outcome, and it's just more of like how I'm creating it. But yeah, I feel like overall too, I've just been like experimenting with different things like painting, just kind of like whatever comes up. I also like costume design. But yeah, I feel like there's not one thing that I've really like delved into or like perfected, I guess, or like necessarily like strengthened in like every possible way, like painting or sculpture or like any one medium.
How old are you now?
How old am I?
Hmm.
22.
You're in a perfect stage for 22. It's fine to, if you told me you were 32, I'd be nervous, but you're 22. So where do you go to school, or where did you go to schoschool?
Willamette University, it's in Oregon. It's like a small school, but yeah, a friend that I had there is how I actually heard about art.
And where do you live now?
Chicago.
Oh, how are you? Yeah, you're going to do one of the carpets, correct?
Yeah.
Ariana, you're doing one too, is that right? No? Who else is doing carpets? Okay.
Yeah, I need to contact you about supplies.
Yeah. It's both me and Luis have been space cadets about it, but it's, Alejandra's well on her way with it, and there's no time. I mean, kind of, we want you to get it done, but you will. I'm glad to reach out to you because I think we haven't been that good about communicating the rules and stuff. But anyway, also just so to go on a side note, there's 3 of you, which is a lot. Alejandra, you should show them where you're at with yours and give them some, how you did it and all that. Tanya, what was the other question? Oh yeah, I was gonna say you're not coming to Art Division anytime soon. You're in Chicago, but
And I wanted to jump in for a sec because Tanya, I know you had some like really specific practical questions about creating a portfolio, or I think you did because you were really looking to put one together while you're looking for work. Is that right? So I just wanted to throw out, make sure you ask what those questions are so that
Yeah.
Yeah, and please, no question is too simplistic, or don't worry about that at all.
Yeah, I feel like it's just more kind of general, just because in the past, I feel like, yeah, I've never actually put like a formal portfolio together because I've never like.
Neither have I.
Yeah, I feel like I just don't have experience like applying to things with a portfolio. So that's just kind of in general why I was like really lost on how to start one, or like how much or what kind of things I guess I should include.
Yes, I understand the question. And what I can't remember if I said this before you all came on with Deli, but okay, let's say you're at UCLA. Let's say you're on the faculty and you're reviewing who you're going to let into the department. You sit there in a room, you stare at hundreds of images, and you get really kind of fatigued. You take breaks, you come back. And there's every school is different. Like schools will say send 10 to 15 slides. That's so annoying. I wish they would just say send 15, because you don't know if I send 15, is that too much? If I say 10, is that too little? So I would sort of split the difference, but lean towards the most. Like if it says 15, give 15 or 14 images. And then think of it in terms of that it's the people who are looking at it are going to be looking at thousands of images, and what will, the thing I would avoid is work that's like clearly done in a classroom. Like if it's like, I took this figure drawing class and I did this really excellent nude drawing. No one wants to see it. They don't want to see that. That doesn't ring a bell. They want to see your own voice. I mean, what you showed me, Ariana, those are good for a portfolio. Those would work for a portfolio. They're very distinct. They're confrontational, and they would work well. And they're also colorful, which I hate to say it. Color is good. It doesn't mean drawings can't be good too, but specifically just look for variety and look for something that comes from your heart. And it's in a way, what's kind of cool about it is if you don't have a portfolio, it would force you to really edit yourself, and also to make work for that portfolio. Like, oh, that would be good in a portfolio. Think about doing a carpet is absolutely something that people would love. Oh my goodness, that person did a carpet. That's amazing. And you could be creative, like have the drawing and then the finished product. Something outside of the box is always good. Things that are highly political or highly sexual, fine, no problem. Boring, not fine. You know, like there's no, unless you went to some weirdo Christian school, no one's going to care about the imagery. They would care. The only thing that I think people, if it's too photo based, that's not good. If you look at it and you think, well, they just copied a photograph, that is kind of for me, that's my personal thing. I just had to judge an art contest and go from like 1,000 or something to 80. And the ones I eliminated were like, well, that's just a photograph that they copied. Like you could smell that a mile away. So that's something to avoid. Anyway, does that answer your questions, Tanya? Or do you have anything else you want to?
It definitely, yeah, narrows it down. Because even when I was like making the Instagram account these past couple weeks, and like I was thinking of anything that I could like upload into it, I feel like there are things that like, or fewer things that I felt like really, really like strongly about, I guess. And so I was like more limited in that way. And even that was just kind of like me starting to think, well, what can I create to add to this, to add to a portfolio? Yeah, it's good to have all these in mind as I'm doing that.
Yeah, and so where are you thinking of applying to into what?
I'm not really sure. It would be cool to go to like grad school. I mean, the Art Institute is here, but I feel like for that, yeah, I would just like really want to first strengthen like a lot of my like work itself in general first. Like I feel like I need time still for that. I don't think I've gone in too detailed or put too much research into school yet.
Yeah, there's another art school there other than the Art Institute that's supposed to be really good, and the name is, I forget the name of it, but it's a friend of mine either teaches there or told me that it's a better school than the Art Institute, but I'm not at all.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of it. All right, well, good, and we'll come back. So, Alejandra, talk to me a little bit. Are you going to apply to grad school? Is that a plan or something?
Yes, that's the plan.
Where are you thinking?
I was thinking either CCA, UCLA. That's been like my top two right now. And then I looked up the Art Institute and RISD something, or I think that's the one. And then, but the program doesn't align with what I want. So I'm still looking.
Was the last one you meant RISD maybe? RISD?
Yeah.
No, RISD. Yeah, RISD in Rhode Island. If you're up for it and you live in LA, I would apply to UCLA. It's not outside I mean, it's probably the most difficult school to get into, but I would, what the hell, apply. You know, it's like, I think I told you I taught in that program for a number of years in the grad program there, and it's an excellent program. And do you have any questions, Alejandra, like about this, what we're talking about?
I'm just saying, like, because I do have like a little portfolio, but like there's always more things one can look into what they're looking for a portfolio. So I'm just here to listen.
Yeah, and I think I was telling Ellie before you all came on that we would have to have round two. I think round two would be like, don't worry about it, meaning just put a portfolio together. Put a portfolio together and we'll make a date when we'll come back and I'll look at your portfolios and I'm not going to be judging them like, oh, you know, it'll be more like, okay, this is good. But you can learn from each other to listen to. And what I'll do is I feel like I'm shouting, but I don't really have to shout. But because you all are so little, you're so far away. I've helped people put portfolios together, and I've noticed that I've been wrong a lot. Like I'll have another artist come in and put in their input. And one is someone who Ellie knows. It's a friend of ours, Callie Klebanoff, and I misjudged it. And I had a friend she was a photography student. A friend of mine came and looked at it, and we had agreed on a lot of things, but he said, no, put that in. And a lot of it was work that was really explicit. It was like sexually explicit. He said, absolutely put that in. And she got in. She went to NYU, I think, Tisch. So anyway, but that the reason I brought that up is if it ever gets to that point, I would get a second opinion besides me. You know, there's other Luis, you know, who some of you know from Luis Serrano is also really good at this kind of things, and Fabian is too. You know, so okay, let's move on. Anna Karen, how are you?
I'm good. I would say I practice more writing and filmmaking. So how would you go about like capturing that? Would you, I just put like, let's say for example, if it's a script, a picture of the script or a sample of it.
I think
And
I'd be
also,
so the wrong person to ask. I mean, even though I love movies, I have no idea what kind of I mean, they're probably so specific. I mean, I did have, you know, Luis Cuevas, you know who that is. He's the filmmaker at Art Division. He's applying to grad school at Loyola Marymount, and I wrote him a letter of recommendation, and it was easy because I really like his work, as yours. I really like your film work. I don't know. I don't think I could advise you on that. I think Ellie would be better than me just because I don't know what film schools look for. I think they probably are so specific. Wouldn't you think, Ellie? Like probably say
They're super specific. I worked with Luis on the rest of his application, and yeah, they're all, and as a writer, I would say that it's not really portfolio based, like, and it's very unusual even for writers. It would make sense if people had like web pages that was a host site for some of their writing, but I actually have not seen that. So it's really, it isn't, I mean, you could have a blog or a website that might be something that would like really direct people to your writing, but I've never seen anyone put like a script on that or even part of a movie. So it really would be just more submitting things for specific projects or for specific publications.
And then the other thing, Anna Karen, the other person is Deborah. I mean, Deborah Koffler, like could advise you. I mean, I guess partly also what I'm saying is we're here to serve, we're here to help you, but we would defer, I would defer to Deborah, you know, and to who else? Other folks who know about film and look at the application. But I guess what I'm saying is don't freak out. It can be done and your work is strong. So where are you thinking of applying?
I'm actually not thinking of applying anywhere right now, at least for film school. I'm just thinking more in the future about applying for jobs and
Oh,
when I
okay.
start freelancing as a filmmaker. How would
Yeah,
I?
well, that's there. You know, I have a friend named Lisa Margulis who runs a movie company. She used to work with the Coppola children, and it's more for commercials and stuff. But like, if you got to that point, we would ask her. You know what I mean? Like, there's people I know, or between Ellie and I, we'll help you out. Like, don't feel like you're lost in the woods. But you know, whatever you need, we'll make sure. If we can't help you, we'll find people who can help you. Does that make sense?
And I would just say it's weird that it's so different, but it really is different from the visual arts, even with just general film. I mean, this is probably not true of like experimental film, but it really tends to be you submit a work for a specific opening, unless you're applying to a program, in which case they'll want a sample of your work, but it really is not portfolio based, and I'm not sure why.
Anna Karen, what is your path or what is your goal?
I'm still clarifying that, but I definitely want to be in filmmaking, more of an independent filmmaker. But I'm still clarifying if I want to do more like script-based stuff or documentary. But right now I feel like it's looking more like documentary film work.
Have you heard of Steve McQueen, the filmmaker?
Yeah.
Have you seen Small Axe, the thing that's on now?
No.
It's really amazing. It's really amazing. And it's interesting to me because he went to film school. He went to NYU, I think, and he left, but he started in the art world and then is now obviously a commercial filmmaker. He made, 12 Years a Slave, but they're so good. I mean, I watched 3 out of the 5 and the second one, my mouth was hanging open. I couldn't believe I was watching what I was watching. They're so good. And here is this guy on Amazon Prime, and they're so controversial, political. There's no compromising, and here he is making, these movies. But I'm so now I can't read enough about him. Like, I'm so eager to hear what his art practice was like before he became a commercial filmmaker. So anyway, I think he's someone to follow, I believe. So, all right, Adrian, tell me what's up.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. I'm actually just here to listen for tonight. I
Okay.
appreciate the opportunity to share a statement, but I think I'll do that probably over the phone with you, Dan, and check in over email, just so I have the right intention to share. Just because I
Okay,
think
because
for today I was hoping to listening, and
Sure.
I did just get my questions answered. I had very similar questions to what
I
was
can't believe
just
you got them
discussed.
answered, because I feel like I'm just blabbing all over the place, but I'm glad you got your questions answered.
Thank you.
Anna Carrillo, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Sorry.
Oh, hi, there you are.
Yeah. I guess for me, I'm already in the school, so now I'm working into getting into one of their programs. So I'm in the studio art BA, and I want to transfer into their I'm still figuring it out, but it's either going to be studio art BFA program or illustration.
And which school are you going to?
And yeah, I'm going to Long Beach,
Oh,
South State.
and you're taking art there?
I transferred. Yeah.
I used to teach there as well, taught in their art department.
I get. Yeah. I'm
Would you-
liking like the classes so far.
Good. And you want to transfer to illustration, you said?
Yeah, or their studio art program.
Uh-huh. And you're looking to make a portfolio to apply?
Yes.
Yeah, what
Okay.
you were saying they have a BFA, you're in the BA program, right? And I'm sorry to jump in, the audio is like really, it's hard for me to hear, so sorry about this, but I think what you were saying is you're in the BA program, but you want to transfer to the BFA program, and to do that, you need a portfolio.
Yeah.
Well, that's just, if you could find out what they're looking for. That's when let's have your guys' homework when we meet again, is to find out what thing the place and I mean, this is obviously different for you, Anna Karin, but find out because you're not that specific yet, but if you could pretend you're specific, like what specifically, because everyone's going to be different, like I mentioned, Art Center, they just go crazy for sketchbooks. They just love sketchbooks, but find out and almost do it as a game. If you're not really sure what find a school that you may be interested in applying to, like Alejandro, look into UCLA, see what they ask for, and then we'll take it from there. You know what I mean? Like, and we'll pretend you're applying now to play a game of I'm applying to UCLA. And Anna Carrillo, you too, if it's illustration, find out what they're looking for, because it may be totally different than what I would tell you now. Maybe exactly what I told you not to do is what they're looking for. They may be looking for nude figure drawings. I don't, that may be exactly what they want. That's certainly not what UCLA is going to want. But, everyone's going to be different. So they're all unique, what they ask for, every single one. Yeah. Okay, I think everyone talked individually. Does anyone have anything they want to ask me else? And you could ask me anything. Don't be at all embarrassed or shy.
I have a question for, I guess, an Instagram portfolio. Like, how often would you suggest, because I know consistency is something I struggle with. Like, I'll be really good for a week and then I will go a month not posting anything. So I guess I'm just wondering, like, how often
to post?
Yeah, I don't know, because like Instagram's not even the best platform right now. The algorithm's just changing, and it's really hard for artists to get their art seen. So I don't even know if you have any other suggestions of like digital platforms.
I only know, no, I'm the wrong person to ask. I think I post on Instagram about I would say once a week. What I do is I watch to see, I'm just telling you the way I do it.
Mhm.
I don't post like pictures of my dog or pictures of my trips, any of that. And sometimes I will break it and I'll put something and then I take it off right away. Like right now I have the mural of the Lady Guadalupe on there just because it was her feast day. I'll take it down soon because I treat it as as business. And I'll post, as soon as I finish a painting, I'll post it. And I'll leave it up until it starts losing energy. By that, I mean, I'll get like, 50 hits a day. And then all of a sudden I get like 1 hit in one day. And then when that comes, I know it's time to post something else.
Mhm.
And then I'll have a backlog of stuff to post. Like I'm doing an exhibit of prints that I've done for 20 years in Oaxaca. For example, I'm not sure if I'll do this or not, but if I have, also I'm working frantically right now. So I have about 1 painting a week
Mhm.
done, but I don't, I'm almost treating it like a diary. Like I put it up whether I think it's good or not. It's what I did that week.
Uh-huh.
And then I always put the date when I did it. And it just sort of marks it that way. And it's been an amazing tool for selling work. Amazing tool. And I don't know, I play games, I mean, by play games, I mean, I know I have little things I do to make sure I get more people liking it, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I would do once a week. And then Ariana, if you feel like, I had a slow week, I didn't do anything, post one of those older things you've done. Or post something like, guess what, I'm doing a carpet, and show the design for the carpet. A little story like, this is going to be woven in Teotitlan de Valle in Oaxaca, like, that's
Yeah.
amazing. That sells you, but I think the 2 you showed me would be fabulous on Instagram, but I think I can't believe I'm the Big Joe Pro Instagram, because I just and you said there's other platforms. What are they? Where else is there? Like you said, algorithms. I have no idea what an algorithm is. Do you, Ellie, do you know what an algorithm is?
I actually think I do know what
What
an
is an algorithm?
It's a program that makes choices that decides what you're going to see.
Oh, I see.
You click on.
Yeah.
So a lot of artists are struggling, and like small businesses, because they're just getting pushed down. And there's actually some new terms that were released. So I'm a little worried about my work being on Instagram, because they have new like sexual explicit terms and agreements on Instagram. So a lot of sex educators and sex workers' work is being censored and taken
I would
down.
be so surprised if your work was censored. I would be really surprised.
I mean, all of my work is just sexual related. So I'm really hoping that nothing, because I haven't been posting, so I don't know whether or not it's affected me, but
I really would strongly doubt it. I think you're fine. When I look at even things my friends post, it's like much more out there than what you showed me, so I don't think you have to, the worst is they censor it. And then what? Then you move on to somewhere that won't censor it, but I don't think it will. I think they're too stupid to see the sexual imagery anyway. I don't think they're gonna know. I wouldn't worry about. I think you're creating a problem that is not important. I think.
Can I have an announcement? So there's this gallery in the Bay Area that's doing a free workshop on the art of selling art. And like, if you're interested, even though they might not say something informative, but it's something to just see how like galleries or how other artists are approaching selling art. So the gallery name is Jen Doe Gallery. I posted on Instagram. It's gonna be there until tomorrow. So like, if you just click on my story.
Yeah. Can you put your Instagram name in the chat?
Okay. Sorry.
The operative word is free.
Yeah, it's free, and so I'm been looking into the free workshops, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds great. If you could send me a link, I will post it to everybody in the group.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
that was it. Sorry. Keep talking.
No, I think that's great, Alejandra. When you said it was free, the only thing I would really stay clear of is when you have to pay money to be in an exhibit. Those are scams, loud and clear. You got to be really careful of that. I mean, it's easy to get scammed into these, obviously scammed into those schools that make you, we've had a couple of students who've gone in enormous debt on, what do you call those schools that you do online schools or whatever?
Right, for-profit schools.
For-profit schools. So I think every single one of you are really on a great path. And I know how scary and like, what am I doing, especially in this time of such isolation. But if it works for you all and it works with Ellie, I would love to meet with you again and just have part 2, meaning you show me things and say, like, it's funny, that thing, Ariana, in a way, what you're talking about, I think, I'm sorry for talking about myself, but I did a print when I was in Oaxaca and it was a nude and I so did not want to do it. I was so embarrassed, and the printer who was there really encouraged me to do it. No one ever said anything. It's just art. Art is very different than, erotic pornography or whatever you want to call it. But you're so on safe ground. I don't think you have to worry. And it's like I said, look at what Judy Chicago was doing 20 years ago with explicit imagery. It's out there, and you're fine. There's trailblazers ahead of you who never got in trouble, so I don't think you have to worry about it. And what else? Anybody else? Alejandra, I feel I'm talking to you, but I'm going to see you. I'll see you like in a couple of days. So, and if ever any of you want to reach out on anything, please, that's what we're here for. I mean, I say it a lot, but we're here to help you all. It gives us satisfaction to do it. And, I thoroughly enjoy helping you stay on your path and figure this stuff out. And what else? I mean, please, if there's anyone of anything else they want to ask me or tell me.
I just want to add that one of the platforms that's really good right now for as far as like the algorithm goes is TikTok. And if you can even just take a video of like your process of like making something and then showing your finished product, and maybe redirect, like putting links in the bio of TikTok so people are redirected to your other stuff. But that it has a really good algorithm, and you can reach so many different people through it. And like there's so many people on the little app.
Yeah, I guess it's also like for me, it's all about business. I do it just to sell the work. I'm of course happy when people like it, but it's like I've developed a collector base in New York, and also folks in Texas who buy the work through. It works for me as a sales tool. So, but we got so off topic from portfolios, but. Let's just say we're going to meet again. Does that sound good to you, Ellie? Or?
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm even gonna go ahead and well, we could. I think maybe we should make that our next meeting, because that would be in a couple weeks. We've got the holidays, and then that would put it into like.
What does this group do? You guys meet every other week?
We meet every other week at 6 p.m. But what do you all think about the idea of doing the follow-up meeting in our January meeting, giving us time for the holidays, would be like January 12th. How does that sound for part 2?
It's fine for me. And also don't be nervous. Don't be like, I have to finish this thing by October. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what state it's at. I could just, it's not like, it's just something to jump off of it. It's just easier for me to comment when I see actual work. You know, it's much easier, and so, okay, I'm fine with that. I'll put it in my.
That sounds great. And I'll send out an announcement to everybody. And another thing that occurs to me, Dan, as you're talking, I know you said that Guillermo taught you all these techniques for like increasing your followers.
Sort of, yeah.
So, but I think it might be interesting to do a different evening.
Oh God,
like
not with me, but Guillermo's like
somebody with Guillermo, with
Yeah.
somebody about like specifically how to sell your work on using social media as a platform so that people can learn. Like I just learned so much from everything that you just said, but I think it might be interesting, and all of you tell me, if give me a thumbs up if you think that might be something worth doing later in January or early February, to do a like selling your work via social media evening. And then Dan, I'll talk to you and we'll see who might be a good person to come in and lead that.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I would so not be the person. I think it would be one of the kids like Alex Gonzalez or Luis Hernandez. They know that way more than me. So.
Great.
So January 12th, just have some semblance of a portfolio. Now, how will that work? Because portfolio gets so weird because it's like, it doesn't mean a physical thing. It's like you could do it by screen sharing or whatever, just some images of your work. So I can.
Also, like regarding the portfolio, like a good tip I was given to me is that whatever portfolio you're doing, look at the artists you like what platforms are they using, how are they posting, like how often are they posting, because the date is there.
Yeah.
And like how do they interact with their people, and like that's something to always take notes onto. Like what, let's say, are they using Squarespace or Pixels, or what are they using? And so that's just a good thing to always write down, note, and keep a little diary of what they're doing.
Very good point. Very good point, Alejandro. Well, I guess a meeting adjourned, and a pleasure meeting you all and seeing you all again. And Tanya, is it freezing cold there?
Not yet. Starting next week, I saw something about like it being 15 degrees so soon. Right now we're still in like 30s, so we're chilling.
All right. Well, have a good holiday, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you on the 12th. And is that the next meeting, Ellie? Or no?
That'll be our next meeting. So we'll have a holiday break.
And you guys if you have questions, ask Ellie, and I'll be talking with Ellie too. So Alejandro, I'll see you in a couple of days. And also Tanya and Ariana, if you're confused about the rug thing, say, I don't get what's going on with this rug thing, let us know, because we're making it up, I guess, as we go along too. So, okay. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful
night. Everybody, happy holidays. Stay well. Take care of yourselves. And I'll be seeing you in January, probably.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Have a great night.